And in the darkness of this evening, I will be picking up again our adventure in Pokemon X, the Kalos region, soon to be seen again in a new video game. And in fact, where we are right now in the story of this little universe is on some of the very same streets, soon to be revisited in Pokemon Legends. But we are in the history, the past of that adventure yet to come. And we are still seeing how this world and our journey inside it plays out. But more important than this digital journey is the one that you are on. And in the time that we have together here, I hope that you will be able to spend this moment in a certain amount of relaxation and settling to allow the ghost inside you, the ghost that is you, to find a place of comfort and rest. And maybe even a pathway to sleep. because where you are right now is exactly where your ghost belongs. And now, let's get back to Kalos. And if you are trying to use this time to go to sleep, then I encourage you also to close your eyes and know that I will do my best to narrate what is going on the screen so that you don't have to watch with your eyes and that your ears will be enough. And of course, none of this is so important that you must pay attention. In fact, if you miss any of it as you go off into your own thoughts and dreams, you can be sure that it will all still be right here if you ever need to check up on it again. Now, what we're doing right now in the game is facing the great Lumios City Tower, the Prism Tower, I believe it is called, and it is featured very prominently not only in this city, but in the upcoming Pokemon Legends CA. And in our previous adventures here, we recently turned the power back on. Part of this city was off limits to us before, but thanks to our defeat of the Team Flare members in the nearby power plant, we were able to restore functioning to the tower and the city. So of course that led to our next gym battle challenge, which is inside this tower here against a young boy whose name slips my mind at the moment. But we did our best to take him on last we were together, and while we made it up through all the levels in order to get to him, we ultimately were unsuccessful in defeating him. So what we're doing now is crossing back through all of these brightly lit digital or robotic almost decorated floors here in the Prism Tower gym, where we were tasked with answering sends out an Emolga, the flying squirrel Pokemon, an electric and flying type, which is really a great combination because it means that our ground attacks will not be suitable for defeating this electric squirrel. Or what else flies? Little sugar babies or something. Anyway, Tremor actually has a pretty amazing moveset with a Dragon Claw that actually did not do very much damage to Emolga. Clement's Emolga is level 35 and Tremor is only level 27. And with just their first attacks, our Tremor is almost knocked out, and Emolga has not but a bit of damage on it. So I'm going to switch out here and move in our Miltank with the hopes that Dorothea has a little more defense and HP. Clement's Emolga uses a quick attack, and it does very little damage to Dorothea, and she is wearing a rocky helmet, so Emolga took almost as much damage just by attacking. So now we'll have Miltank use Body Slam. But the Emolga got a Volt Switch in first and did quite a bit of damage before switching out into a Magneton, who takes almost no damage. Well, we're going to do our own switch here and move back in Tremor, presuming that this Magneton will be doing an electric type move. And indeed, it used Thunderbolt, which has no effect on Tremor. But he follows it up with a Flash Cannon attack, or Mirror Shot rather, and that knocks out our poor newbie Tremor. So now our dragon is gone, and we are faced with a full team on Clement's side still. And we send out Fletchender here, hoping to use some firepower against the Steel-type Magneton. And although Fletchender got to go first, and indeed dealt a significant amount of damage with Ember, and also burned the Magneton, its retaliatory Thunderbolt knocked out our Fletchender. So now we move on to Pangoro. Now I am assuming that they're going to switch their Pokemon again back to Emolga, so maybe we will also switch out our Pokemon. Although unfortunately everyone we have left is weak to either flying or electric, so I guess we'll just go ahead and use a Vital Throw. And it turns out that they did not switch out their Magneton. So Pangoro connects with the Vital Throw and takes out the Magneton. Although now we are competing Heliolisk's HP. But what to do now? I guess we'll do Mega Drain. Clement uses yet another Hyper Potion to return Heliolisk to full health. And I'm realizing just now that I also have in my bag some revives and Hyper Potions that I picked up at the Poke Center just before this. And I suppose I could be using that right now. But first let me try to readjust the brightness of the screen. It was a little too bright for me. And now we're gonna try and put Heliolisk back to sleep so that it doesn't get to keep using these thunderbolts every turn. Thankfully, the sleep powder gets through, and the bugs continue to chip away. And we'll use another Venoshock here. And I think also what I need to do is revive one of the other Pokemon so that when inevitably Emolga returns, we stand some kind of chance. I'm guessing that it won't take more than one or maybe two aerial aces for Emolga to knock out Night Soil. Unless, of course, somehow she is able to put the Emolga to sleep. But I used a revive, so now Dorothea is back, at least to half HP. And I'm going to toss her a little fresh water as well, just to make sure she is at her fighting best. Heliolisk wakes up and fires off another thunderbolt as all of the square lights along the walls dance around us. Night Soil will use sleep powder once again as she precariously sits at 5 HP. I guess the infestation stopped working, so we're gonna just keep doing Mega Drains to hopefully bring back some HP before Heliolisk passes out. Maybe I'll just go ahead and use a potion here for Night Soil as well, and save ourselves the trouble of having to revive her later. So I use a Hyper Potion, and Night Soil is back up to full HP. Heliolisk wakes up and uses Thunderbolt. And we will now finish off the Heliolisk with a Mega Drain attack. But of course, it gets in one more Thunderbolt. And though it is not very effective, it does a significant amount of damage to Night Soil. But with the Mega Drain and a little more Black Sludge, Night Soil returns to half HP as Emolga comes out to once again terrorize our poor team. We're gonna try for a sleep powder, but of course, the super effective aerial ace knocks out Emolga, Gloom. So all we have left now is Dorothea against this Emolga. We'll try for a body slam here and hope that we can paralyze. Oh wait, no, we cannot paralyze an electric Pokemon. So even though the body slam And this body slam paralyzes not the Emolga, but poor Dorothea, who also got too much static on contact. But I do have in the bag also a full restore, so I'm going to use that now to bring Dorothea up all the way to full health and cures her paralysis. And the Emolga changes tactics to a quick attack, running itself quickly, headlong, head first, into the rocky helmet atop Miltank's head, and so effectively knocks itself out. And this battle is over. Clement's back on the screen here and says, "Your passion for battle inspires me." It's very kind of him to say, for I feel like he had a much more inspiring show of it than we did at this moment. But Bonnie comes up to him now and says, "My brother, you lost." "Oh, Bonnie, when will you learn there's no shame in losing? I'm glad whenever I get to learn something new, thanks to perhaps it's here in this little alleyway. No, that was just a red door. And this is the Rouge Plaza. I think it was next to the Magenta Plaza, if I remember correctly. So we'll get on our skates here and move a little more quickly through the streets. This looks like a red cafe. Very red indeed. I think we found it. Yes, it is. It is a super red cafe. The chairs, the floor, the wall is all red. Even the countertop is red. There are some people sitting about, a waiter, and then to the back we see Professor Sycamore and Lysandre himself, the leader of Team Flare. We walk up to them, and Sycamore says, "I was just having a conversation with Lysandre about mega evolution." And Lysandre replies, "I would like to congratulate you as well. Mega evolution is something I too would like to be able to use." Actually, Lysandre himself is of royal ancestry. He truly is a chosen one. True, I'm a descendant of the king's younger brother. That being said, that story is 3,000 years old, so it might not be entirely reliable. By the way, Hackett, do you know where the Holocaster is made? That's what it's called, the Holocaster. No, I don't. Oh, really? Well, they just happen to be made in Lysandre's lab. Lysandre is a great man. He supports trainers and Pokemon research with some of the profit from the Holocaster. People can be divided into two groups, says Lysandre. Those who give and those who take. It's just as how the Kalos regions to legendary Pokemon gave life and took life. Wow, I don't remember them being framed like that, but I guess that's what he feels about it. "I want to be the kind of person who gives," he goes on to say. "But in this world, some foolish humans exist who would show their strength by taking what isn't theirs." Sounds like Team Flare. "They're filth," he shouts. Long, long ago, the king of Kalos sought to take everything for his own, and he created a terrible weapon. Then the fire of destruction was unleashed. That is the legend that has been passed down. Kalos is beautiful right now. There will be no foolish actions if the number of people and Pokemon do not increase. That being said, the future isn't decided. You can't be sure each day will be like the one before. What the King of Kalos did was reprehensible, but the ultimate weapon did manage to wash the world clean of that era's filth." He walks forward in front of me and hands me a King's Rock. "Thank you for listening. Take that as an apology for my taking up your time." And with that, he walks out of the cafe. "What a passionate person," says Sycamore. "He's just like a blazing flame. Perhaps his pride in his lineage is what makes him burn so intensely." That being said, what Lysandre says is only one way of looking at things. It's not necessarily the truth. What's truly important is the time you spend together with others. Treasure these moments spent traveling the Kalos region with your Pokemon. And I guess that is all that Professor Sycamore had to say. Well, I'm glad that he gave us another perspective there, because the little tirade that Lysandre went off on was drastically passionate, perhaps scarily so. And he began to allude to the past of the Kalos region, which this cafe. These people don't have much more to add to us, add to our story. And talking to Sycamore just gives us the same message, so I guess we leave now. And now we get another hollow clip as we exit. This one is from our friend Trevor. Trevor says, "Hello, how have you been? I just wanted to let you know we're all going to meet on Route 14. Please come and join us." Concise and clear. To Route 14 we must go. At this point, step back into the cafe, but coming out now, we should probably get to a Pokemon Center first, since the whole team is still reeling from the very difficult battle we had. But where is the Poke Center? We'll go this way. There must be one nearby. Actually, we can probably just jump on our Fletchinder here and fly our way to Route 14. Route 16 is there, Route 4 is to the southeast, 5 is the southwest, Route 13 we want to go north, so we'll just fly to the northern side of the city here, and it should drop us in front of a Pokemon Center. I will say that it can be frightening when people have such passionate views about the world and the past, and especially when it creates in them an idea about what it is that needs to happen. Not just for their lives, but for the lives of everyone else. And as Professor Sycamore said, there are more than one way to see things. There are always more than one way to see things, I think. And it is up to each of us to decide how we want to see things. But now we move out of the Lumiose city here and on our way to Route 14 to see our friends. The lady there says to move right along here to Route 14, and we pass into the glowing archway, and Trevor calls out as we walk out into the yellow grass. He says, "You've arrived very quickly. I've been missing you." My friend group. Another thing Sycamore said, at least how he sees it, is that the most important thing is to spend time with the people that share this life with us. So I'm happy we get to do that now, both in the game and here in this space. "Oh, hi," says Selena, or Serena. "We were just comparing how complete our Pokedexes are," said Trevor. "I won, of course." "I leave filling up the Pokedex to you guys, Trevor. I don't like it when everyone does the same thing anyway. Let's compare how many Pokemon we've seen, just like we always do. This time, let's compare how many Pokemon we've seen in the Mountain Kalos Pokedex. To put it another way, I'm challenging you to my own kind of Pokemon battle." I guess I've only seen 10, but he says I lost. How frustrating. Just knowing about the same Pokemon as someone else can sure make you happy. That is also true in this assuming Meowstic's going to use Disarming Voice again. Gloom will have a little more resistance, being a poison type. Of course, Gloom is also weak to the Psychic type, so... And of course, Meowstic uses Psychic, which knocks out Night Soil in one hit. So where shall we go from here? I guess we'll send out Dorothea to see if she can last a little longer against the barrage of attacks from the Psychic kitten that is against us. Another Psychic attack nearly knocks out Dorothea, but she responds with a Body Slam, and this time paralyzes Meowstic, so she should be able to move immediately. Now that Meowstic's been slowed down, and the second Body Slam still is not enough to knock out Meowstic, but the paralysis keeps her from attacking. So one more Body Slam here, and Dorothea takes down Serena's first Pokemon. And Dorothea grows to level 30. And Leaf grows to level 33. And then Serena sends out her Chestnut, a grass and fighting type Pokemon. Let's see if Dorothea's faster, and she is, so we use a Zen Headbutt, which even though it's super effective, does only a sliver of damage. Chestnut uses Bite, and takes a little more damage from Dorothea's Rocky Helmet, which I guess has really turned out to be about the best item in this adventure right now, having done more damage than some of the Pokemon, even with their attacks. But we've got Fletchinder to do some real damage here to this Chestnut, who is weak to both. Well, is weak to flying through both its grass I was having so much fun with the sparring dance that I totally lost track of time. So Tierno, have you found any good Pokemon for your dance team? Yep, I sure did. I'm super close to my ideal dance team. That's great for you, says Shauna. Hey everybody, let's go to the scary house. The one by LaFur City, says Trevor. That's just a rumor, isn't it? Come on, let's all go find out if the rumor's true together. Says Serena, I think I'll pass. I'm sure it's just a rumor, and I want to spend some time with my Pokemon before heading to LaFur City. And off she runs. Oh, okay, bye, says Tierno. Maybe she's still upset that she lost. So, is it really that scary, says Tierno. Let's go and see for ourselves. There's always some reason rumors like that get started, says Trevor. And they both run off down the path the same way that Serena went. Sigh, says Shauna. Why are you traveling, Hecate? Everyone is working really hard at what they want to do. But I'm just all about memories. I'm kinda just goofing around. Just kidding. And off she goes. I can relate to often just goofing around and spending a lot of time thinking about memories. But I guess we have to find time to do all of it, including continuing on the path. It started to rain here in this little section of Kalos. I guess it's kind of like a playground. There's this structure here, and you can even go up to the top of it and then slide down the slide. And there's a few benches there, and maybe a sand pit in front of the benches. There's these different colored circles resting in the grass in front of the place, and then we have a little swing set here. And you can even get on the swing, although there doesn't seem to be a way to make it move. But sitting down did show me that there is a Pokeball over here, so we find a rare candy sitting in the corner near the trees. And I guess the next step in the journey will be to join our friends, except for Serena, to explore some kind of haunted house, which is down the way here. But I'm going to save those steps for our next time together. And be thankful for the accomplishment we got in this moment, which, of course, was defeating Clement, bringing Gabite onto the team, and seeing Morningstar evolve into its final form, the beautiful Talonflame. And so, I will leave you here, but I want to thank you so much, as always, for being here with me and spending some time. Your ghost with mine. As we do what we can to restore ourselves